Almost any major appliance you have in your home can be found in today's RVs. We've decided to concentrate on RV stoves and refrigerators, as the other appliances operate basically the same as your household ones do. Let's start with stoves.
Mama says I get to cook supper tonight, so I'm going to show you how to light the stove and the oven. Stovetops are very simple. First, if you have the sparker type, select the burner you want to light, turn it to high, and turn the sparker knob until it lights. If you don't have the sparker type, you must use a striker or lighter like this one. Make sure the lighter is lit before turning on the gas. As for ovens, there's no thermocouple like you would find on a water heater or furnace. As soon as you turn the knob to pilot, propane is escaping into the oven chamber. It's a very small amount, but make sure you have the striker lit beforehand. Turn the knob to pilot and light. Notice how small the flame is? Once the pilot is lit and you turn the temperature up, you'll see the pilot flame increase in size. This is warming what is called the safety valve and is normal. This may take a few seconds, but if all is well, the burner will light. That's it. Insert food and enjoy. There are only two manufacturers of RV refrigerators today, Norcold and Dometic. And apart from their appearance and their controls, they all work basically the same way. I'll spend a couple of minutes telling you how these great little appliances work. If you have a fridge problem while you're camping, this knowledge may help you do a temporary fix until you can get your tech to look at it. Unlike the fridge in your home, there's no Freon in RV fridges. They work on an evaporation principle and have liquid ammonia in them. Here's the backside of a Norcold refrigerator, and this is what we call a cooling unit. Liquid ammonia, which is naturally cold, is in these lines, and when we want cooling, we create heat, either from the flame from propane or a heating element from AC power, down in this part. The heat evaporates the ammonia in the tubes and sends it to the top. When it gets there, it condenses and starts to trickle down, cooling as it goes. When it gets to the bottom, it starts all over again, and that's all there is to it. Why am I telling you this? First, it might help you understand why it's so important to keep your RV as level as possible. If you don't, the ammonia won't be able to run back to the bottom and your fridge won't cool. Secondly, if you ever smell ammonia or see a yellow crusty stain under the burner tube at the back of the refrigerator, this indicates a leaking cooling unit and will have to be replaced. Let's start with Dometic Controls. They are quite likely going to look like this or like this. The only difference is, on this one you don't adjust the temperature. It's preset at the factory. We'll use this style to explain their operation. First, you must turn the fridge on and the display will light up. You have the option to run on auto or gas. Before I go any further, here's something you must keep in mind. Whether operating on AC or propane, your fridge still needs 12-volt battery power to run all the controls. Okay, if you select auto, the fridge will automatically look for AC power first, and if none is found, it will go to propane. So if you're at an RV park and have power, the fridge will use it. If the power goes out for some reason, it will automatically change to propane and protect the contents of your fridge. You can override the auto by going to gas. This uses only propane. You would do this if you were concerned about the cost of the power you're using or worried about drawing too much power and blowing breakers. The only problem with selecting gas is, if you run out of propane, the fridge quits cooling. I almost always have mine set on auto. Now Norcolds are exactly the same, except you can select auto, gas, which is LP, or AC. Like I said, how they look is the only difference. Now if your check light comes on either type of fridge, it's telling you that something is wrong. Your fridge is not cooling when this light is on. If this happens and you are on auto, shut the fridge off, turn it on again and wait. If the light comes back on, you have a problem. Switch to gas and turn the fridge off and on again. If the check light comes back on, you better start looking for a cooler and some ice. Something is wrong and you need to get help. It's not uncommon to have a problem with one function or the other, and the check light doesn't always come on. So if your fridge quits cooling, switch over to the other function and see what happens. This information is invaluable to your RV tech to help him quickly diagnose the problem. RV fridges are not frost-free. A little frost buildup on the inside is normal, especially if you're in a high humidity area, or are opening and closing the door a lot. If neither of these situations apply to you, and you're getting more than a little frost inside your fridge, Perhaps the seal on the door isn't as tight as it should be. You can check this by performing the highly technical paper test. Now pay attention, this is complicated stuff. Not really. Just take an ordinary piece of paper and close it in the fridge door. Gently pull on it. If it slips out with very little or no resistance, you don't have a good enough seal and this can cause frost. Make sure to perform this test on all sides of the fridge. On the inside of the fridge, frost buildup is normal on the back, right-hand side. But if ice constantly builds up on the fins, you may not have a good enough seal on the cooling unit, in which case you'll need an RV tech to reseal it. RV fridges take longer to cool than your house fridge, so don't expect your favorite beverage to be frosty and cold an hour after you turn it on. On the other hand, once the fridge is cold, it's designed to stay cold for many hours. Also, if you have an ice maker, don't expect to make ice if you're running on propane. Ice makers only work on AC power. On some Norcold fridge panels, you'll notice a light with BAT printed on it. When lit, this is not telling you your fridge is running on battery. What it's telling you is, warning, your battery power is too low and the fridge cannot function properly. You need to rectify this by charging your batteries. That covers most of what I want to tell you about refrigerators. But here's a final tip. It is not recommended to travel with your LP on. In fact, it's illegal in some places. So shut your tanks off when going down the road. The reason for this is, if you were ever to have an accident or an upset, and your propane tanks were on, you could make a bad situation worse. Likewise, never refuel your RV with your fridge on. If it decides to light while you're fueling up, well, think about it. Remember, always safety first.